Black people are often overlooked and underserved, solely due to our complexion. Although all people are just different shades of brown, society has made it a norm to classify people by race and race alone. It all began in the 18th century. A German man by the name Johann Friedrich Blumenbach developed the concept classifying mankind into 5 races solely for the purpose of acknowledging the natural variation throughout the human species. His book, De Generis Humani Varietate Nativa, or On the Natural Variety of Mankind, published in 1775, was rapidly adopted but then manipulated, eventually leading to colonialism and white supremacy. Time and time again, Black people are told what they can and cannot achieve, as if we don't strive in a variety of ways in our lives every day. Have you ever heard the phrase, Black people have to work twice as hard to get half as far? Not only has it been a common idiom within the Black community, but also has been statistically proven by the National Bureau of Economic Research and the Economic Policy Institute. But despite the system that tries to set us back, we keep pushing forward, 10 toes down. We are more than just the color of our skin. Black is powerful. It's in the way we walk, talk, and innovate, turning every hurdle into a bridge and every silence into a symphony. It's in the way we successfully build thriving communities such as Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Willard, Virginia, Haiti District, also known as the Black Capital of the South, in Durham, North Carolina, Harlem, U Street, aka Black Broadway, and 7th Street in West Oakland, California, just to name a few.
My name is Nace Odgeware.
And who are you?
I am a senior in philosophy, political science, double major from Boston, Massachusetts, and I currently serve as the Howard University Student Association president, as well as the president of our Howard University chapter of the NAACP.
What does the word power mean to you? How do you define power?
The word power means access. Access to the ability and the capacity to change things, either for the better or the worse. When I think of Black power and leadership, I think of Black leaders that were able to shift our culture, whether again that be for the negative or the positive. I think maybe we tend to look at our more positive toned or positive leaders that have positive outlooks or perspectives that we've been taught and trained to believe. But I think that there are bounds that everybody reaches and uses as a means to an end. And I don't think that our means always have to look the same. And so what I think about Black power is I think that our leaders have consistently shown us that our means to our end don't have to look the same, and their ability to convey their messages and shift cultures, even with disagreements, even with, in the face of injustice, in the face of oppression, they're still able to kind of like overcome and shift in that manner. So the power that they had, not only within themselves, but the power that they were able to garner and generate from the support that they had around them, allowed them to make those shifts. And without it, I don't think we would have been able to make the strides that we have. What is inspiring me to be in the role that I'm in at Howard? I don't think it's any one person, maybe more so the idea that I have a duty to give Howard back to others in the same way that it was given to me. And I think that I have a duty to give it to them better than it was given to me. I was a sophomore in high school. It was right before COVID hit. And Julia Mejia, she's one of our Boston City Councilor at Large. I'm from Boston. And she's one of our City Councilor at Larges. And I went to her election party, like when she got elected, and she had won by 1 vote that year, which was like historic. So she won by 1 vote, and just her rhetoric, like her campaign was all means all, and her rhetoric really embodied what she meant by all means all. I think she was the first person, like I think I'd really credit the kind of public servant that I am and want to be to her, because she brought me into her office when I was just 15 years old, and I think that's what's made me so comfortable. I think that's what even gives me the idea that power really just means ability to access, and I think that when you have the power, it is your commitment and your ability to give it to those who are closest to the pain, and that comes from a quote that Ayanna Pressley says, who is someone else I also, very much look up to. And Ayanna Pressley says the people closest to the pain should always be closest to the power, and that's something that I agree with most. And I think that Julia Mejia's campaign, All Means All, really embodied what it means to give the power back to the people. Black leaders have the ability to really shape narratives, just the power of influence. I think the power of influence is something that we really, really possess here as leaders. And I think that our ability to reach people in a very creative and unique way, I think Black people make something out of nothing every single day. And we have the ability to make something out of nothing and then shape culture and influence at the same time. And that within itself is like, there's so much power there. So, yeah.
Black is inventive. When we're given the short end of the stick, we'd always find ways to work through it and ultimately end up improving many lives. Due to the lack of police's response to emergencies in predominantly Black neighborhoods, Marie Van Brittan Brown and her husband invented the home security system. Alice Parker created a gas-powered central heating system. Work by Dr. Gladys West led to the GPS that we all know and love to use today. Frederick McKinley Jones' mobile refrigeration units made way for transporting food, medicine, and blood. And you should thank Dr. Shirley Jackson because through her advancement of fiber optics, which provides 24/7 high-speed internet, you are able to watch this documentary right now. Black is art. Black art is known as the visual and creative expression of the African diaspora. I decided to bring in one of my favorite Howard visual artists to deep dive into Black art. What is your name?
My name is Jaslyn Rainey. What do I do? I'm an artist, and I am currently an early graduating junior, majoring in art with a concentration in painting from San Diego, California. I think Black art has an impact because it's everywhere. I personally have been taught and choose to believe since the dawn of time, since like early cave drawings from people in Africa or earlier in the motherland, everything is art. Everything we look at is art. When I start my paintings using an undertone, I prefer to use like a warm tone, like a burnt umber or just a warmer tone, which I feel like relates to like the earth and clay in Black people in a way. When I hear Black is art, to me, that's like a whole world and galaxy of everything down to our hair, to our eyes and our features, the way we sound, the way we move, our aesthetics, the way we dress.
Are there any Black artists that you take inspiration from for any of your art projects?
Yes, so I have a whole list, but I will only name 3. So my favorite Black artist that I'm currently most heavily inspired by currently is Titus Kaphar. He would be my number 1. My number 2 would be, it's split between Harmonia Rosales and Bisa Butler. Bisa Butler is a Howard alum, for those of you who don't know, and she does amazing, beautiful quotes of Black culture and Black heritage. But the third spot would go to Amy Sherald. So this painting that I brought in here, the time it took me was a good 2 weeks. It was a good 2 weeks, which was pretty fast because the first week was me sketching and drafting it. And then the second week was me painting. And then I literally had a whole day or 2 days where I had to restart painting and cover everything up to restart. This is a painting titled Such is a Time for Art. So I have some representation of students in graphic design and electronic studio, and then me as a painter and other painters as well, and then sculpture artists and ceramic artists. With Black hair, there's so much you can do with different details, different aesthetics and styles. But like specifically in focusing on detail with this work, the patterns, I took an inspiration of Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther from Ruth E. Carter's costume designs. And then so this sculpture is actually from a prominent Black artist, the fist at the bottom, Elizabeth Catlett. And yeah, there's a lot going on. There's some Indica symbols in here. And yes.
You brought a book. What is this book?
Okay. This book is by George McCalman. And so basically this book is illustrated Black history, basically honoring the icon, or it says honoring the icon and unseen, but it's like basically all of my favorite Black people in one book. And like basically they had an artist draw them, and like they have little text to go with them. It's like it has John Coltrane, and then like athletic athletes and Nina Simone, but then like artists like Nicolene Thomas and Amy Sherrill. Research and literature plays a heavy role in the arts, and I feel like a lot of people don't kind of choose to recognize that. So I wanted to, hey.
Black is fashion, Black is creative. There are always stories to be told, some well known, others unheard. Black creativity is one of the main ways we often express how we feel and how we see things through our lens. Our creativity tends to often get culturally appropriated. We've seen it happen in many areas, from music, trends, hair, dances, and fashion. American culture is influenced and made up of many other ethnicity cultures. It's what makes us unique and separates us from other countries. In recent decades, with the launch of social media, there has been a rise in cultural appropriation. When people embrace their culture, it often gets looked down upon and they get mocked for it. Therefore, when someone of a different ethnicity does the same thing and is praised for it, it's immoral. To dismiss one's creativity is not only demeaning, but is a direct attempt to erase the unique perspective and potential innovation of something new. Creativity has never been a luxury. It's always been a necessity. AAVE is one of the most creative concepts that I feel that Black people have ever came up with. AAVE is African American Vernacular English. It was birthed from forced interaction between various language-speaking enslaved persons. According to an article by The Messenger, AAVE began by mixing various West African languages with English to create a new means to communicate, and that over time, this Creole converged with Standard English. AAVE significantly influenced American culture, including jazz, hip-hop, and mainstream slang. Through AAVE, community was built. In present-day time, it's used for creative self-expression and makes us feel connected as a people. Black is community. Black community is like no other. We stick up for each other. We organize for people when they are in times of need. We nod to each other or say phonemes and know what we are saying without anything being said at all. You can be who you are without worry about if you're accepted or not, because we've always been at a point in our lives where we are misunderstood.
My name is Kelby Hughes. I'm a senior and chemical engineering major, mathematics minor from Oakland, California. Community is everything. It literally binds all of us together. It's the people who show up and support you even when you're at your lowest. It's the people that you inspire. It's quite frankly it's literally everybody. I'd say when it comes to community, what's so important about it to me is that it's all we have, truthfully. When you go back to slavery, when you go back to Jim Crow, when you go back to segregation, the 90s, the Reagan era, like what has kept Black people from falling to the wayside has been community. It's been all of us together, by us, for us, I mean, when you look at history, when you look at how much we have changed in this country, it's never been through one Black person, one Black man, and one Black woman. It's been through an entire community of Black people who got together and said, nah, we're not gonna take this no more. We're gonna make something different. And on Howard's campus in particular, it was our community that made a lot of things change. It's the community that I've been able to cultivate here has been able to make a lot of things different. So yeah, born and raised in Oakland and San Leandro, the Bay Area, West Side, of course. Growing up, in the Bay Area, one thing that I saw, no matter what part, whether it be the richest parts of the city, the poorest parts of the city, was homelessness. Quite frankly, that's been a big part of why I fight as hard as I do. And being able to be in the position I am pushes me more and more and more to where I can at least help my community. Eventually, when I get to those rooms, when I get to that space as engineer, I want to make it to where Black people have easier access to being able to get into these spaces. make it to where people who didn't have the opportunities I did, whether it be as a little kid or as a teenager, they could be able to get to college, and be able to get to community college, and be able to get to trade school. I'd say when it comes to making an impact on my community, I run an Instagram page known as KSauce, inspire a lot of people. What I do is I take selfies and pictures with people on campus or wherever events I'm at, whether it be out here or back home or just like wherever I find myself. Being able to build that unity amongst different people, some who I know, other people who I don't know, like that's kind of the point of it, just trying to build this vast network that allows people to just kind of just be their authentic selves. I started doing that way back in 2021 and when I was in high school, and I decided I'd bring that to Howard kind of as my way of kind of making a difference. And around 4 years now, it's been able to grow from very small rooms to almost basically an entire campus. And I'd say that being able to do what I do allows me to be authentic and allows me to be who I am, but it pushes the idea out there that everybody can be a member of the community, everybody can be authentic, and that there's no need to change or do something else because someone else told you to. Everybody asks me, like, what's the point of KSauce? What's the point of posting so many things on Instagram? The point is literally that message, that agenda. You do not need to change for anybody. The idea that, outside of maturing, of course, you shouldn't have to act a certain way towards people. You should just be you.
Nothing like music can bring a community more together.
Oh, my mama don't like. On the dead homies.
There are so many genres of music that originated in America, and majority of those genres were invented by Black people. Jazz, country, bluegrass, ragtime, gospel, R&B, disco, house, also techno,
Rock, soul, hip-hop, and trap.
Hubs that birthed legends of those genres were in Detroit with Motown, Memphis with Stax Records, Harlem with Prestige Records, and Chicago with Chess Records. Black is dance. Whether it be crumping or line dancing at a cookout, music and dance is in our soul. It's a language of itself. Black people are involved in a plethora of things and aren't limited
To be or to do.
just 1, 2, or 3 things.
Black is versatile.
Black
Black is everything.
You be with the boys and I'ma be with the dogs. Blood on the Travies and serve as a challenge coin. I'm the voice, I had to speak for the org, past the preacher. Smash up weed on the organ, master teachings. Actually couldn't hold me, I was hungry. Mama made her son read, so I'm hunting, glancing still a peek. Dad still didn't feed me, I had to get a feel for the whole thing. Peek in the orbs, speak on what I absorb, observe boundaries. I found a different route to explore and run around deep. I told you about the reaching, you fouled down and screamed. That sounded to me like a loss. I had a bad bout with grief and I tossed a match on the kerosene. Burned the ring down to ashes and memories. Feather feet behind and ahead of the beat, throwing them off, arriving in the nick of time. These niggas nickel and diamond, I'm giving them 5 and sliding my way up the street. Pretty penny, you my luckiest find.